Hey everyone, factoring into today's video, we're doing the 5th Winter 2014-2015 Roundup video. Today, we're going to get various things together, such as sea surface temperature anomalies in the equatorial Pacific and in the Atlantic Ocean as well, Siberian snow cover, solar activity, the QBO quasi-biennial oscillation. We're going to get various things together, various aspects that will eventually make up the Winter 2014-2015 forecast. We're going to get them together and see how they've progressed in the past couple of weeks since we did the 4th update. There was a massive increase in snow cover in the past 2 weeks, or it has been. We'll have a look at all the detail on that in a moment. Before we go on that, though, just to say about the ads. Now, there's links to articles on my homepage here at GavsWebViz.com. In fact, on many pages, there's a widget on many pages at GavsWebViz.com. Have a browse through these widgets. If there's any articles that you're interested in, just click through. You'll be able to go off and read those articles. At the same time, GavsWebViz, we get a royalty fee on what you're doing. There's also green keyword ads on some of the pages. If you roll your cursor over green keywords, they'll display ads. But if you click through the word, that's the key, click through the word, and you go to the advertised website, you'll be able to support GavsWebViz.com when you do that as well. They are just advertising quite an important charity advertisement at the moment for Ebola. So if you want to donate any money to the cause to fight Ebola, then when you see the green keyword ads, click through and you'll be able to go off and donate some money to help fight Ebola. Very important cause, that one, from the Disasters Emergency Relief Committee. Also want to say about Gavs Shop. It's open for business now. I opened it yesterday. So if you want to do any shopping at Amazon, go to Gavs Shop via the Gavs Shop button that you'll find on some of the pages, particularly on the home page. Go to Gavs Shop, and then from there, click through the Amazon banners. That's the key to getting that working. Click through the Amazon banners, go off and do your Christmas shopping at Amazon as normal. But at the same time, GavsWebViz got a royalty fee on what you buy. And thanks very much for that. All these things really paying for the website there, paying to help me sit here and talk to you via website. Although the charity ad that's currently displaying with the green keywords actually isn't earning money for the website, but all the money with that one is going to help fight Ebola. So thanks very much for getting involved, and thanks for doing that. Now, I want to start off with the OPI. There's been a lot of discussion on the forums and also on social media, Twitter and Facebook, about the OPI. It isn't a methodology I'm particularly familiar with. It first came to the fore, I think, last year. Didn't really follow it too closely last year. I'm following it much more closely this year. We've been tracking the OPI, October Pattern Index, through October to see what it's been doing. We've now got to the end of October, of course. We're waiting for the final number to come out for what the OPI was during October 2014. This is the actual page we've been looking at for the OPI updates. It's an Italian methodology, Italian forecast. Very talented forecasters in Italy are doing this. I believe they're going to submit a proper peer-reviewed paper about this next year. But at the moment, the website, the OPI website, is saying the revision of the index, OPI, and forecast for the coming winter will be available as soon as possible. So basically, what they're doing is they're going over all of the days through October and coming to a final sort of the patterns through October, coming to a final sort of number for what the OPI was. I think it's going to be negative. We'll be on the negative side, but it's just what the number was during October. And then from that, the exact pattern that caused that number, they are going to create a forecast for winter of 2014-2015. It'll be appearing, I'm sure, on this website. Also, it'll be appearing on many forums. I'm hoping to get the forecast on the blog as well in the coming days or weeks, or however long it takes, really, for these forecasters to get this together. Talking of the blog, I just want to explain a little bit about the OPI. I haven't really done this in the videos yet, but I did a blog post on my Flash page at GavsWebViz.com a couple of weeks ago. I'll just quickly talk about that before I get on with the rest of the video. Now, if you haven't checked out the blog, I know some of my viewers over on YouTube perhaps wouldn't have checked out the blog, perhaps aren't even aware that I've got a blog, but it's GavsWebViz.com/flash.ht That is the web page for the blog. I update it at least a couple of times a week, sometimes more than that if the weather's quite interesting, and it goes down quite well. Actually, a lot of people seem to like the blog, so do check it out when you get the chance if you want to do that. But I did this blog post about the OPI a couple of weeks ago, and we looked at past numbers going back to 1976. I got this from NetWeather, actually, netweather.tv, this information, so they've got a fantastic forum over there. Do check that out as well. The idea is that when the OPI is negative, the October Pattern Index is negative, it is a reflection really of blocking up over the pole of the negative Arctic oscillation. When the OPI is positive, it's telling us that we haven't got blocking over the pole. Now these years that have blocking over the pole have a negative AO and have a negative OPI. These years seem to feed back probably through an increase in snow cover across Russia, a rapid increase in snow cover across Russia. It seems to feed back later on to a colder than average winter. So these are the numbers that we had back to 1976. You can see the full list of these numbers just here. Interestingly, that for instance 1984, which was followed by the cold winter of 84-85, has a negative OPI of minus 1.8. 1985, which was followed by the cold winter of 85-86, had a OPI of minus 1.9. 1986, followed by the cold winter of 86-87, or particularly January 87 anyway, had a cold wind, had a negative OPI, should say, of minus 1.3. But the years that were followed by milder winters actually have positive OPI. So we have 1988 here, for instance, at plus 1.5, was followed by the very mild winter of 88-89. 1989 has a positive OPI, just about plus 0.25, followed by the mild winter of 89-90. So you can see what we're doing here. When we've got a negative number, it's reflecting that you could get a cold winter coming afterwards. When you've got a positive number, it's reflecting the fact that you could get a mild winter coming afterwards. And I say it's probably via feedbacks this is occurring, because when the Arctic oscillation is negative in October, it's probably allowing for an early build-up of snow cover over Scandinavia and Russia, and that in turn feeds back later on to an increased risk of a cold winter. Coming back to the nearer time frame, to the last few years, we can go right down the list here, and we get to 2009, which had a very negative OPI of minus 3.15. That is the most negative OPI of any year back to 1976. And of course that's followed by the very cold winter of 2009-2010. Now last winter, 2013, interestingly, has a positive OPI, very positive, plus 1.6. So you can see perhaps what helped to drive that very mild winter that we had last year. Anyway, the OPI has been trending negative throughout October. Every single day, I think, through the month, has actually posted a negative return. It certainly did on that app that we've all been looking at very closely over the past month. As I said, they're off doing the final revision to the OPI now. They'll be coming back with that final number. I think it's going to be negative. It's how negative it is. Don't think it'll be as negative as 2009, but probably it could be the second most negative on the list. And then from that, the forecasters in Italy will be creating a forecast for winter of 2014-2015 across Europe, and no doubt British Isles will be including that. So watch this space. If you want more information about the OPI, I'll be talking about it when that forecast appears, probably in a video and in the blog, or on the blog as well. So do keep watching this space to see what's going on. Right, let's get on with the latest situation in terms of the sea surface temperature anomalies across the globe. Specifically, we're interested in the Pacific, the equatorial Pacific as well, and also in the Atlantic Ocean. This is the latest sea surface temperature anomaly from NOAA, N-O-A-A, and yeah, we can see that we've got warm water upwelling along the equatorial Pacific. It's from here, from Peru, going over to Indonesia. That's where we're interested in, along the equatorial Pacific is where we get the ENSO occurring, and there is definitely warm water now rising across the equatorial Pacific, as I'm sure you can see quite clearly with those orange and red colours. If we go back to the last time we did the update, the fourth update, and this was taken from the 16th of October, we can see that there's been a clear and definite increase in temperatures across the equatorial Pacific since then. So this situation, 16th of October, this is the situation now. Definite signs of warming taking place. So the ENSO is very gradually, very slowly coming on. Will it ever quite reach ENSO El Nino conditions? We've got to get temperature anomalies here. See, so temperature anomalies in this central part of the equatorial Pacific, 0.5 of a degree or more above average over 5 tri-monthly periods. Now that could be some ask really with how slow this is coming on. It may be that it's never actually designated. We'll have to wait and see on that, but certainly warming has occurred. Anyway, I'll show you the SOI numbers that we've had recently that has helped to cause this warming. Notice also this cold water down here. If we go back, to the 16th of October, there's how much cold water we had underneath or to the south of the equatorial Pacific on the 16th of October going forward. As we can see that that cold water has shrunk, and it's that cold water really that's been holding things up, been feeding into the equatorial Pacific, sort of holding up the progress of the El Nino, but it's definitely shrinking all the time. It's also become unhooked from Chile. It really very often this cold water here starts off the Chilean coast. And when we go to La Nina, the first signs of it will be off the Chilean coast becoming very, very cold. But it's uncoupled from the Chilean coast, showing that this cold water at the moment is very, very weak, and it should allow warming to occur across the equatorial Pacific. Up to the north of the Pacific, around Alaska, we have got some cooling taking place as well. If we go back to the 16th, there's how much warm water we had up here around Alaska and the Pacific coast of Canada and America. Going back to now, cooling is occurring. We're beginning to lose the warm water we had up there. Remember, last winter we had a lot of warm water up there. It helped create a ridge around Alaska, which helped promote a trough on the east side of the state. Don't want to go into too much detail for this video. You know I've talked about it in the other video, but it helped to create a trough in the east and the northeast of the states, which then exploded into cyclogenesis across the Atlantic. Could have a different pattern. I've been sort of pinning my ideas for the American winter on the fact that we get a ridge here around Alaska again. I'm not quite so sure about it now, to be honest. It could be, I think we'll still have a lot of ridging around Alaska, but it could be a little bit weaker than I've been expected, because this warm water is cooling down very, very rapidly. This is normally a very cold place in the ocean, one of the coldest places in the oceans across the world. So it's very unusual to get warm water up here, and it's inevitable it would start to cool down at some point. It looks like that is starting to occur. The PDO, by the way, Pacific Decadal Oscillation, is still warm, although within the cold phase of the PDO, and usually we're sort of going away from where we should be in terms of the PDO, and we're in a warm PDO at the moment. But this cooling up here could be the start of the PDO beginning to go negative. We'll keep an eye on that. In terms of the Atlantic, we're warming through the tropical Atlantic. Got quite a bit of warm water there coming off the coast of Africa and going over to the Caribbean. Cold water in the central part of the Atlantic, but we haven't really got warm water south of Greenland. So we're close to a tripod, but we aren't actually at a tripod. We would need to see more cold water here through the Atlantic, central part of the Atlantic. Then we need to see it warmer to the south of Greenland. We're looking for a tripod, of course, because that feeds back, or can feed back, to an increased chance of a negative North Atlantic oscillation. We didn't have one in May when I did the NAO forecast, and that was really the start of the winter updates, actually. We didn't have a tripod in May, so it's unlikely we get a tripod, certainly into the first half of the winter, and there's no real sign of it just at the moment. Now, the SOI has been trending very, very negative in the last week or two since I did the update, but in recent days we've actually gone positive again. So look at these numbers that we had on the 21st, minus 24.88, 22nd of October minus 25.34, 23rd of October minus 24.18, very, very negative numbers. 26th of October minus 22.95. That's what's helped cause that warming across the equatorial Pacific. It's we've through that period, we really hooked up the atmosphere and the oceans beautifully to reflect El Nino. So between Darwin and Tahiti, we had a perfect atmospheric setup to allow that warm water to churn upwards through the equatorial Pacific. But look what's happened over the last couple of days. We've gone positive. So 31st of October we go to plus 10.70. Again, atmosphere fighting against the oceans. And the 1st of November, positive again, plus 3.37. Now, if that's just 1 or 2 days, it won't really matter too much. If we go very negative again very quickly, that won't really impact things. But if this is the start of more backwards and forwards, it's going to hold up the El Nino. It's getting very, very, very late now to get the El Nino going. So November is going to be crucial. I've been saying every month is going to be crucial since we started looking at this. November is going to be the key point, I think. If we start hooking up more very negative days like this, we will get the El Nino coming on, albeit only weekly. I think it's too late for a moderate or strong event. But if we've got more backwards and forwards, we've got more very positive numbers in between a few negative, as we have been having over the last few months up until this big plunge in the SOI through the second half of October. If that's where we're going, then the El Nino is really going to struggle. Solar activity, and we had a big spike upwards in activity a few days ago. Big sunspot occurred, and that took us into high levels of solar activity. We've dropped back to low again now. Not much going on across the solar disk on our side of the disk today. This is from solarham.net, but this is just sort of telling us, and that spike was just telling us that we're still in this period where we're getting spikes coming up. We're getting big sunspots, and if they occur through winter, they are likely to, they will niggle the jet stream, and of course more solar activity goes against the chance of blocking over the northern latitude, particularly across Eurasia. It's less impactful for America and Asia, but for Eurasia it does appear to be more impactful. But when you've got more solar activity, the jet stream is enhanced and tends to be a bit further north. So low activity today, but expect more spikes upwards as we're coming off the solar maximum. Explain this in other videos. We aren't in a great period of the solar cycle to get a lot of blocking over the pole just at the moment. Next thing I want to look at is hurricane activity. Not a great deal going on really this season. It's more of a season than it was last year. We didn't have any hurricanes, I don't think, last year. We had a couple of storms, but no hurricanes. This year we have had 6 hurricanes, and we've had 2 major hurricanes, category 3 or above hurricanes. So yeah, we've had a few storms, had a couple of hurricanes, but nothing really going on, and certainly nothing that would suggest that we're going to increase the chance of blocking through taking warm air out of the tropics and dumping it into the pole, which is essentially what hurricanes are doing. One of the ways the Earth sort of naturally cools itself. It's like the Earth's thermostat at work, really, a hurricane, dumping heat from the tropics into the pole and trying to find an equilibrium in terms of the temperature over the globe. So there's nothing there. When you get a lot of hurricanes that are dumping a lot of heat into the pole, it can later translate that into an increased risk of blocking. There's nothing really there to suggest that's going to happen this time. So both the hurricane side of things and the solar side of things not really pointing to a cold winter. QBO and the easterly phase of QBO is on its way. This white area here is indicating that we're going into the easterly QBO. Grey is a westerly QBO, white is an easterly QBO. When the QBO is easterly, quasi-biennial oscillation, it's telling us that the westerlies are being reduced. The zonal westerlies in the northern hemisphere are being reduced, so that should enhance the risk of blocking. So the QBO being easterly should give us a greater chance of blocking through this winter, but it's not as simple as that. There are many years within the QBOs, I've explained, that are easterly QBOs, but also mild winters. 94, 95, a beautiful example of that, for example. I'll probably talk about that a little bit more in the 6th winter update, which will be coming up probably next week. Actually, I want to talk about the QBO in a little bit more detail next week, so come back for that. Right, let's get on to snow cover across Siberia. I'm just going to stop and have a little drink of water because I feel my throat tickling just ever so slightly, so just bear with me. Okay, let's talk about Siberian snow cover, and this is the latest chart from NIC, the National Ice Centre, for the Northern Hemisphere, and particularly for Eurasia. This is on today I'm doing video November the 1st, and it's not great, is it? The snow has pushed back in towards central parts of Russia. Many western parts of Russia are currently snow free, and there's not a great deal over Scandinavia either. You would look at that and be pretty dejected, I think, if you're hoping for a cold winter. Now, the National Ice Centre website went down. It went down for about a week between these past two updates that I've done, between the 4th update and today's update. But I want to show you what happened while the NIC website was down. Now, this is the situation when we did the last update. This was on Saturday the 18th of October, and well, we are advancing the snow cover there, probably a little bit more snow cover, particularly over Scandinavia, at that point than we've got right now. If we go back to the situation right now, yeah, I think you can clearly see that we had more snow on the 18th of October than we've got right now. But look what happened as we went beyond that. This is the chart for Friday the 24th of October, and virtually the whole of Russia at that point was covered, even into the west of Russia, with virtually covered in snow. There is no other year, I've looked at this, there is no other year back to 1997, where these charts start, no other year that had as much snow cover as this. So at that point, on the 24th of October, we was actually further ahead in terms of snow cover than any other recorded year. And then that carried on into Sunday the 22nd of October. Again, the website was down through this period, but the charts were still being compiled. Presumably the satellite was still taking the images. And again, look how much snow cover we have into western Russia. Also, much of Scandinavia covered by snow as well. Now, we've died back, as I say, the snow cover has died back. This is the latest image of the snow. You can see what's happened is that warm air has pushed in and forced that snow cover back a little bit. So just how impactful is that early build-up of the snow cover that we have for October going to be? Let's have a look at 2012. This was the situation on the 31st of October 2012, and again, there was a rapid advancement in snow cover across Russia and in Scandinavia through 2012, and this is how we finished October 2012. Most of Scandinavia covered with snow, the snow cover extending into western northern parts of Russia and into northeast parts of Europe as well. So what happened through into November 2012 is that, look at this, we started to push that snow cover back again. So it did make that an early advancement through October, particularly the second half of October 2012, but excuse me, then it was pushed back by milder air as we went into November, and by the 17th of November, again, not great, even Scandinavia is losing a lot of that snow cover. So the fact that that happened tells us that when the snow cover makes an early advance across Russia and Scandinavia through October, it is very liable to be pushed back. But the thing is that the damage has been done, if you like, when the snow cover advanced across Russia very rapidly through October 2012, despite the fact it was pushed back later on for a short time during November 2012. The fact that that snow cover made that advancement across Russia and in Scandinavia was the key factor, and that laid the groundwork to get the high pressure building over that snow cover. It sort of set off, if you like, the high pressure over Russia, which later on fed back to the cold winter that we had through 2012 and 2013. Now this year we have seen the snow cover dying back more than it did in 2012, but on the other side of the coin, we have seen more of an advancement through October than we did through 2012. So it swings and roundabouts, really, I think, this. But I think the key point was the fact that we built that snow cover so quickly through October 2014, through this October. We built it very quickly. I think that's going to feed back into a stronger Siberian high, but quite where that sits is going to be the key factor, you see, because if it sits further towards the east, what it's going to do is push over the pole and down into Canada. That's what happened last year. Whereas if it's more on our side of Siberia, on our side of Russia, it could start to advance in towards Europe. So just because we've got a stronger Siberian high doesn't necessarily mean that it's good news for winter, but it certainly certainly won't hurt anything, I don't think, and it should improve our chances somewhat. I'm waiting to see what they come up with for the OPI, because I think all of this Siberian snow cover and the rapid advancement of the snow across Siberia, I think that is tying back into the OPI theory. So I'm waiting to see what the guys in Italy come up with the OPI. Hopefully it won't be too much longer to wait, and we'll be able to see where we go from there. But certainly there was very dramatic snow cover across Russia through the course of October, and although it has died back quite a lot in recent days as we've started November, nevertheless the damage really was probably done by the advancement of the snow in the first place. Okay, I've gone on long enough. Been a very long video. I hope you haven't found it too dull. Hope you've stuck with it. If you haven't been able to watch it in one sitting, don't worry, it'll be kept around the website indefinitely. And that's it for now. We'll be doing the 6th update probably next weekend. I want to talk about the QBO a little bit more. Hopefully we'll have that final number and forecast for the OPI as well, and I think next week's video will look more at the QBO. That's it for now, and thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.